Hey everybody, how's it going today? Today we're going to do a short video on how to remove the fuel injectors, clean them, and reinstall them. We're going to go ahead and start by removing the horn bracket. Now I'm going to disconnect the fuel supply line. I'll rotate a little bit here. It's got this blue little button. Simply push that in. Get that out of the way. You can see we got a little rust staining around that. I'm hoping I can get that cleaned up and not have to replace this whole assembly. With the fuel supply line off, we're going to take off the fuel supply tube clamp here. This is a 5/16. And then these little clips here, that's the fuel injector spring clamp. Fuel injector spring clamps off. I should just be able to gently kind of rock the fuel injectors back and forth and get them to come out. And there's our fuel injectors. We've got our fuel injectors off. Actually, we have here, this is our fuel rail, and then here are our fuel injectors. To get the fuel injectors off, all we should have to do is twist a little bit, go back and forth motion, our fuel injectors should come off. And then what we need to do is we need to clean them. I'm going to show you what I do to clean them. I don't have a fancy system to hook them up to, like something from Motion Pro or something like that, but I'll show you what I do that works really well. Here's everything that I use to clean my fuel injector. So obviously I have my fuel injector. I've got some fuel injector cleaner. I've got 2 wires with alligator clips on, positive, negative. I've got a 9-volt battery, and then I have here what I've taken and basically made. I saw this used by somebody else and tried it and works really well. So what I've got is the air valve. It has the inside removed out of it, so it's completely hollow. I've got the cap, which I drilled a hole into, and then I ran the tube for the fuel injector cleaner through that hole, and then I sealed it as best I could with a little hot glue. So it just screws on there like that. And then we're going to take our fuel injector and we're going to remove this O-ring very carefully because we're going to reuse it. So I've got my O-ring off, and now what I'll do is I'm going to take and put the valve over top of where the O-ring would go as tight as I can. It's going to leak a little bit. And then we have our connectors here. Now, these connectors, the electricity goes through there, and that's what triggers them. So this is what we're going to use our wires for. So I've got my positive hooked up. I've got my negative hooked up. I don't want them to touch ideally. I'm going to keep the negative over here. And I'm going to bring this closer so everybody can hear it. You should be able to hear it clicking every time that I touch the battery. That is the fuel injector getting activated. So now that I have that hooked up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a cardboard box. Just going to take and rest the fuel injector on there. We'll hook that to the fuel injector cleaner, and then as I touch the battery and the fuel injector opens, I'm going to be activating the cleaner. As far as putting the fuel injector back together, I put the O-ring back on there. I did put a little bit of silicone lubricant on there, and then I just push it back in and make sure it's seated all the way down. We've got our fuel injectors back into the fuel rail. It's time for us to put our retaining clips on. If you see there's this little notch here in the fuel injector, and that's got to get there in the retaining clip when we put those on. Like that. And we'll do the same here. And we're going to rotate our fuel injectors so the connectors are out. We've already lubed up our O-rings on the fuel injectors. There's a little rocking back and forth. We should be able to get both fuel injectors seated all the way in. Redo our connections. Reinstall our hex screw. Now what's interesting about this is it was coated with what looked like red Loctite and not rust, but in the manual, when putting it back together, it doesn't say anything about using like Loctite 90 to 110 foot. We're going to install the upper engine bracket or horn bracket, depending on what you want to call it. We're going to tighten them 18 to 22 foot-pounds. I'm going to hold off putting the horn on until after we get the tank on and we actually get the motor started, just to make sure everything's working and I don't have to take the horn off again. Next thing we'll do is we'll start getting the fuel tank put back together. Well, there we go. A short video on how to remove, clean, and reinstall the fuel injectors. We hope that everybody enjoyed the video and got something out of it. Please like, subscribe, share our YouTube channel, comment down below. We'd love to hear from everybody and answer any questions. And as we always say, be safe and keep two wheels on the ground. We'll see you next time.